What's good, guys? It's Ray J back with another video, and in this one, I want to break down what's going on with Tesla, SPY, Nvda, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers. Break down some very important warnings I have about the market and how we're moving thus far, and how things could develop going into tomorrow. But before I begin to all this information, before I get into any more details, let me just mention a couple of things. I am personally not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Moomoo link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Moomoo, deposit $100, you're guaranteed 7 free stocks and all friends in just 3 weeks. Anyways, for Tesla, we got this big rejection right over here. We went all the way up to about the 188 area. We saw this nice move to the downside, and we're approaching our 200 EMA over here. So I want to note that when it comes to this overall range on Tesla was stuck between 178 and around this 186 area for quite some time. And right now, Tesla's hovering in the lower end, and we're starting to show a lot more weakness. Tesla's showing more weakness relative to the market as well. And this is, once again, not looking the best if we end up getting a very, very weak close. So I want to break down more details about this in just a minute. As a reminder, when it comes to data, there wasn't really anything too crazy that came out today. We did have Cash Kari giving a speech, but for tomorrow, we have very, very minor wholesale data coming out. Everything else is very minor. Just a couple of Fed speakers like Jefferson, Cook, and Williams. And besides that, Jefferson, Collins, and Cook, not Williams. But basically, all of this is going to be very important. We'll see what happens with all of this. I don't think it's going to be that impactful for the markets, anything too insane. But the Fed speakers could be somewhat important. So most of the data is very, very minor. Like I said, nothing too crazy for tomorrow. For Tesla, there's been a lot of talk about the new round of layoffs that are coming out as Tesla has making those announcements, and we'll see what develops with this. We're still waiting for it. I just want to call out that that's something else that's very, very serious. So, with that being said, I just want to say that Tesla, in my opinion, is looking kind of weak. If you look at the way the share price is looking, we have this 178 zone as our support, and we have 186 as our resistance. Right now, Tesla is barely holding support at 178. If we lose this, we're easily going to fall to our 200 EMA at 175. And if that breaks, we have a gap to fill all the way down to about, I think it would take us all the way down to about 169. So a big drop could be coming to Tesla if we end up failing. So I'm going to be watching this very, very carefully. Our resistance happens to be at this 180 area, so we'll have to wait and see. But I just want to make it very clear that, excuse me, right now Tesla's looking kind of weak. We continue to slow down, and we have to watch this 178 area. To me, it does look a bit more bearish, and there is a good chance it will dip a bit more going into tomorrow. For SPY, I'm seeing something else that's contributing to this. We're getting a possible rejection as we're getting lots of bearish signals like a bearish divergence and such on our current MACD. And on top of all of this, you guys can see that we're starting to really struggle up here. We're struggling right now on SPY. So SPY managed to push up to about this 518 area. I mentioned to everyone that in the past, we have rejected off 518. So 518 is where we rejected many, many times. And with that happening, that's where we ended up seeing this kind of moves to the downside. So that's happened historically. I told you to watch resistance to see if you reject or not. And as of right now, it's favoring a rejection from here. If that's the case, we're going to be watching our 20 EMA, 516.36. Make sure you watch the support. If we lose this, a bigger drop is going to be coming possibly tomorrow or by Thursday, all the way down towards our 50 EMA to 513. I think that could be a target very, very soon. So we have this gap to fill over here. We have more potential downside coming later on if we fail to break 518. So I'll have to wait and see how it goes. If we break 518, we could turn back to bullish, but that's looking less likely. It's looking weaker based off price action and such. I think there's a good chance we might start dipping back down, and we might be making our way down to at least 516.36 to 20 EMA, then eventually lower levels. So I favor that. For the QQQ, we pushed all the way up to about 442, this 442 range, kind of rejected a bit. If we lose our 20 EMA at 439.72, we're going to be tipping all the way down towards 436.5 to 437. So that's going to be very, very key for us. For resistance, if we break past 441, we want to get back above 442 to turn bullish. That's looking a little bit less probable on the QQQ. To me, it's looking a little bit weaker. We got this big bar that's forming, and we're starting to see some potential reversal structures. So just to be safe, let's wait and see how it goes. And just know that there is a risk of some downside looking at the current chart. For Aapl, Apple's also looking a little bit weaker right now. We have support currently at 181.36, and resistance at 182. It could actually dip down to the 50 EMA at 181, and I see a risk of this dipping potentially lower. So this could actually lead to more downside. So just be careful. I do see a test of 181 coming. For Nvda, I'm seeing the same thing essentially. Nvidia is also slowing down a bit. We have our 20 EMA very close to the 908 areas, our first resistance. Our supports at 895 and also 892. That range is where we're kind of stuck. If we lose that support, we're going to be dipping lower. As of right now, we're kind of shuffling and trading sideways, but we did get a rejection since yesterday on Nvda. So this is kind of leading the way, and this is looking a little bit weaker in my personal opinion. For Amazon, I just want to call out that I called 190 on Amazon. That is almost exactly where the top happened to be. And now we're kind of rejecting. So if we lose 188, we're going to be looking at 186.5. For resistance, make sure you watch 188.5. We're kind of stuck right now in a range, but we're looking kind of weak, at least on the technical side. For Meta, I called it 172. That's almost exactly where we went to. Now we're back, coming back down and rejecting off of it. Watch 464. If we lose that, we're going to be dipping all the way down to 460. There is going to be a risk of some downside. For the VIX is also kind of dipping a little bit lower. I think that there is a risk of downside on the VIX right now. We have this gap to fill, and with this potentially happening, this could once again, contribute to different things. But I just want to note that the thing about the VIX is it doesn't have to be perfect. We've almost entirely filled this gap, and we're approaching the 12s. Every time this thing has hit the 12s, this thing does bounce. We're at 13.3 right now. So if we get a big bounce on the VIX over the next day or two, uh, that could contribute to something that changes in the markets. There were times where it bounced off 13.5 as well. Like there was a time it went from 13.3 all the way up to 16. That's happened many times as well. So sometimes it does bounce where we currently are at. So I'm not sure if we're going to bounce from here and the market rejects, or it dips a little bit more and then bounces. It doesn't have to be perfect. Sometimes the VIX could be off by a day or so, and sometimes it just kind of follows SPY, so it takes its time. It's kind of delayed. But right now, the VIX is approaching some key support. We're getting very, very close to it. We'll see if this bounces or not soon. The dollar is also trying to rebound. We're going to be looking at 105.49 as resistance. Break this, we have an imbalance to fill all the way up to 106. So I'll be watching this all very, very carefully. I can't wait to see how things go. SPY is showing some weakness in my personal opinion. I'm starting to see Tesla and other stocks kind of perpetuating in the same manner. There's weakness in the markets right now. We'll have to see if we get these rejections. SPY is starting to reject, and we'll see if we get a follow through move tomorrow. So I wanted to call that out, guys, and give you guys a warning. Watch 178 on Tesla. Does Tesla hold this support or not? Or are we about to see a big shift? If we close below 178, there's going to be a bigger risk of downside, by the way. So make sure you watch that as very, very critical support. And just know that we're getting possible rejection signals here in the market. So just be very mindful of that. Be very, very careful. And just know that the market is once again starting to shift. Okay. So that being said, the market closes in about 45 minutes. I will upload this video, then upload another one in about 3.5 to 4 hours. So until then, guys, just get ready for what the market's doing. We're in a very, very critical place right now. The market is showing some signals of a potential rejection, and that's going to be key for what we end up doing. I really appreciate every single one of you. I hope you guys have an absolutely incredible rest of the day, and I will most definitely see you guys very, very soon on the next one. So I'll see you again in just a couple more hours, and I'll see you guys again after that tomorrow morning. So I can't wait. Have a great day, and peace out.